So, episode 1 of Winning Time featured a lot of funny as well as surprising moments. Today, I'm going to recap the key points of the episode. The opening scene starts with Magic in some hospital waiting for someone. Then he looks at this magazine that features Michael Jordan and his wife. Shortly after he leaves, his driver was crying. I don't know if this was a flash forward in time that we'll revisit later in the series, but you guys can let me know in the comment section. So when Jerry Buss was featured sleeping with the lady, I didn't know they were going to show all that. Honestly, I was surprised by the nature of this show early on, and it showed it's not your regular PG series. Anyways, Jerry basically consulted with his financial advisor Frank about buying the Lakers franchise with his land swaps. Also, I'd like to point out the fact that Frank was a great casting because he was more of a humorous character because he would always freak out whenever Jerry went out of budget. So that was a great casting. So shortly after Jerry decided to buy the Lakers, we're introduced to Magic Johnson, who comes across as a charming yet arrogant teenager. Before watching this series, I always thought of Magic being humble and charming, but I guess he was arrogant too. That was a surprising one for me. Then when it flashes to Cookie, Magic's girlfriend, I was also surprised by the fact that she wasn't on board with Magic. I would have thought that any girl would be lucky to be with the number one draft pick, but I guess not. So now the funny part was when Jerry West was introduced. Coming to this series, I didn't know West's history in the finals, but if you can say he lost 6 straight times in the finals, I would probably be as pissed as him all the time too. West is apparently opposed to signing Magic, which was another fact I didn't know. I thought at the time getting your hands on Magic Johnson would be a top priority, but it just goes to show not everyone's always in agreement. So they claim Magic wasn't quick enough to handle the ball against NBA defense and had no jumper. Claims later in the NBA that Magic would prove wrong. I would just say that the Jerry West casting is perfect. He looks just like him too. Now Kareem is the next one who's introduced. Again, I thought he would be a humble guy who whenever he came across anyone, he would just be humble. But that's not the case, apparently. When the little kid asked for his autograph, he just cursed him off, which I was not expecting at all. I would also like to point out that the scene where Magic and his dad, Jerry Bust, and Jack Cook were all invited to eat before the draft showed Magic's arrogance very much. He had requested $600,000 in as a rookie. Now $600,000 doesn't sound like a lot, but back in those days, that was a lot, especially for a rookie. Also adding to the fact that Cook didn't really want to draft Johnson in the first place either. But in this episode, Magic is humbled by NBA veteran Norm Nixon. Nixon showed that he had much to learn before he can consider him a real NBA player. Magic got torched in the 1v1 with crowds watching him at an LA party. Also, I don't really know why Nixon would just embarrass him like that, but it seemed like he was trying to just bring Magic down, which I didn't really like. So basically after the 1v1, Magic doubts his abilities to be able to play in the NBA, ultimately deciding to pack it up and head back to Michigan. That is when the genius of Jerry Buss arrived. Jerry, when walking Magic out of the arena, said he didn't know where the exit was and left to find someone to help them. That's when Magic walked himself onto the court and started shooting and narrating his own success. So I think overall this episode really captures the vibes in the 80s. The filming even looks very dated, along with the fact that it was all men who were rich and wealthy and kind of snobby, and ladies were being mistreated in the office by the other men. So this episode really does a great job in showing the characters of both Jerry Buss and Magic Johnson. It seems like they mesh very well and have the same core values, which is to win. Now let me know in the comments if you guys agree, and please like and subscribe.